So, I wanted to provide a short discussion on why do gamers pre-order DLC? What incentive does pre-ordering DLC provide to the gamer? And my experience is absolutely nothing. What happens when you pre-order DLC, if you've been living under a rock for the past decade or so, pre-ordering DLC basically warrants you an item or a character or maybe a piece of music that is automatically unlocked once you decide to basically pay for the game early, confirming that you're buying this purchase. Now, what happens later on, and people don't realize this, is the fact that the developers eventually try to gouge people out of their money. And what happens is they release a bundle or a Game of the Year edition where all the DLC is provided in that package. Now, this is what happens. You get suckered into buying this DLC because when pre-order DLC comes about, they split it up, they chop it up into pieces, and they give it to several retailers. So you have to pick and choose what retailer you want to pick that DLC from. Now, you might not be able to get all of it because there's some DLC that is GameStop exclusive, there's some DLC that is Amazon exclusive, there's some DLC that is Best Buy exclusive. So eventually you're going to grow that mentality of, why can I have this? Why can't I have that? I'm only limited to one thing on launch, so I better pick and choose carefully. And the real sucker punch is the fact that you can go out and get the Game of the Year edition a few months down the line and have all that DLC in a bundle, or wait for a rebundle to come on the PSN store or Xbox Live or Steam. So at that point, you're already suckered. The developers already have your money, and you're basically also warranting broken games on launch. If you already bought the game, you don't know what this game is going to have in terms of bugs, in terms of playtesting. Did they playtest the game? We're seeing a lot of broken games come out that really just necessarily don't work, that has a lot of bugs, and then you're going to be a disappointed consumer because you didn't wait to see what will happen, and once again you got suckered into the experience of giving people your money with this initial concept of pre-order DLC. So the devs already have your money at this point. So I had this experience with Resident Evil 0. I didn't think that they would rebundle any of the costumes originally, but what happened, lo and behold, to my surprise, I saw all the costumes rebundle as DLC, and I should have bought that instead of one specific piece of pre-order DLC that I wanted. Now, granted, I think that people can do whatever they want with their money. I'm just trying to sort of give you a synopsis as to what my experience is, as to why you shouldn't do it. I don't think that you should be deliver a broken product, but once again, developers will capitalize on this if they know that this is what people want. So this is why stuff like DLC and season passes and online passes were popular at one point, because people were actually buying into this stuff. Now I'm glad that online passes are dead, but boy, season passes, that's a whole nother subject. That shit should be taboo. You should be able to get your full experience of the game and all of its quality content provided within that package, instead of waiting down the line for more DLC that you don't know is going to be good or bad. So I know it's early, but this is me ranting and raving and sort of giving some suggestions to people who get suckered into this stuff pretty easily. Once again, that's the catch, man. You want this pre-order DLC, you get the game, and then the developer expects you to buy the Game of the Year edition because this is how much you want the content. I would say just wait, personally. They did this a lot in the 7th generation with the Batman games. I love the Arkham games so much. They are really good games, but I did not buy them on launch. Why? Because they had that trend of releasing the Game of the Year edition way later, or at least releasing a rebundle, because I think they didn't have a Game of the Year edition for Arkham Origins, but that's besides the point. So what I did was I just immediately waited for a price drop, and eventually I got the Game of the Year edition for those games for $40, which is a steal with the amount of content that you get along with the base game. And also, they did not do this in the 6th generation, and that was for a good reason, because, you know, there wasn't stuff like DLC, but they had expansion packs, which was just as plentiful as a Game of the Year edition. And also, for the record, I hope that people aren't in this mentality that they don't have any power to do anything about this, because once again, we have seen countless times on Steam and PC, those people up there, when they get suckered for something, they ain't having that shit. They let people know. They let people on Steam know. Remember when they tried to get away with paid mods on Steam and the overall response was negative? Remember when Games for Windows Live happened and the overall response was negative? That's because the people voted with their opinions and their mindset and their wallets. Once again, you have the ability to have a voice. If you don't want to buy something, don't buy it and wait for it to come later down the line. I appreciate the work and blood and sweat and tears that goes into game development, but once again, I don't dance for these game developers. They dance for me, and if they cannot convince me to buy their product, then guess what? I'm not going to buy it. If there's a stigma, I'm not going to buy into it. It shouldn't be the other way around, where you have to be hyped, you have to be excited, and you have to buy into all these bad business practices. That's not how it works on my side of the field. This is Renegade Operative signing off. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. Peace and tranquility. Take care and all that good shit.